State call its first witness, please.
Yes, Your Honor. First witness will be Brooke Page. I think you're fine.
Raise your right hand, please, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony that you give will be the truth and the whole truth, so help you God?
Okay, ma'am, I'll have you have a seat there, please, and go ahead and sit up close to the microphone so we can hear you on the microphone. And I'm going to ask you to state your name and then spell your name for the court report.
Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Brooke Page, Brooke, Paige.
Thank you, ma'am.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Ms. Page, are you married?
Yes.
And who are you married to?
Mrs. Page,
How old are you?
24,
And what is the age of your husband, Justice Page?
27,
How long have you and Justice been together?
9 years.
And how long have you been married?
3 years?
Okay. Do you currently work?
Yes.
And where do you work?
Blue Cross Blue Shield.
What position do you have there?
I key claims,
And how long have you been at Blue Cross?
6 years, 6 or 7 years.
What are the hours that you work at Blue Cross?
6:30 to 3.
Do you remember what were the hours you worked on July 19th of 2023?
Yes.
And what were those hours?
6:30 to 3.
Okay. So it was a full-time job.
Yes.
Do you live here in Baker County?
Yes.
Let me take you back to July 19th of 2023. Back in July of 2023, did you and Justice have any children?
Yes.
How many children did you have?
1.
Was this child a boy or a girl?
Girl.
And what was her name?
Mariah Page.
Was this you and Justice's first child?
Yes.
And what was Araya's date of birth?
September 4th, 2022.
So Araya was under the age of, obviously, 6 years of age.
Correct.
So how old would she have been on July 19th of 2023, approximately?
10 months.
10 months old. Araya being 10 months old, can you just describe what she was like, what she was capable of doing at that age?
I'm so sorry. She was a very bubbly little girl. She would laugh. She was never a bad baby. She was constantly so happy, but she would stare through you like no other person. She didn't care who you were. Even me, she'd look at me and make me laugh at those little goofy looks. At that point, she was saying Dada. She was just getting to the point where she was able to pull up on stuff, like she was about to start walking. She was just so giggly and happy, so bubbly, such an outgoing baby. You would just have to see her and you would just fall in love.
So at that age, at 10 months, she could not walk.
No.
Could she crawl?
Yes.
Okay. Back in July 19th, or July of 2023, can you just describe what was the daily routine that you went through when you were caring for Araya? Roughly.
So that day?
Just at that age, 10 months old, what type of things did you have to do when you were caring for Araya?
So we'd wake up, make her a bottle, change her out of her PJs, lotion her, change her diaper, feed her, Spend time with her, play with her, feed her again for lunch, then at the end of the night, and then during all this, just play with her, occupy her, love on her. At night, feed her, bathe her, put her to bed.
Did she usually sleep throughout the night?
Yes.
She take naps during the day at that age?
Yes.
And when she slept, where does she normally sleep?
At night or her naps?
At night and during the naps?
At night, she slept in her crib. Nap time, she kind of just slept whenever she closed her eyes.
Okay. Did you have a baby monitor?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of that?
Just to make sure she's sleeping, make sure she's okay in her crib by herself.
Roughly how often was she fed at 10 months old, would you say?
About 3 or 4 times a day.
And at that age, what was Araya eating?
She would eat bottles, and then we were trying to introduce her to baby food, so she'd eat baby food also.
So baby formula?
Yes.
And then the baby food, was that like Gerber, things like that, or other type of solid foods?
Just like baby snacks and like just baby food, like the little, and then formula.
Roughly how many times do you think you had to change Araya's diaper in a day? Roughly.
6 or 8 times.
Okay. And you would use baby wipes, baby lotion, things of that nature?
Correct.
Okay. Roughly how many times do you think you'd have to change her clothes in a day? I know it may depend on different factors, but how often?
But when she'd wake up, I'd change her. And then if she had a blowout, I'd change her. And then at night, change her from her outfit to her PJs. So 3, maybe 4,
Okay, so she'd go through a few outfits in a day.
sometimes.
Okay. Do you know a Rhonda Jewell?
Yes.
Do you see Rhonda Jewell in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you please point to her and identify what she is wearing?
Black shirt, black and white.
Your Honor, for the record, she's identified Ms. Jewell as a defendant.
The record will so reflect that.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Page, how long have you known the defendant?
Known her for a while, since maybe about 2018, I'd say.
Is she someone that is a family member or a friend? What do you consider her?
She's really close to the family, so family friend.
So family friend. How did you meet her?
Through my family, through my brothers.
You mentioned earlier that Araya was born on September of 2022. Is that accurate?
Yes.
After Araya was born, did you go on maternity leave?
Yes.
Okay. How long were you on maternity leave with Blue Cross and Blue Shield?
12 weeks.
12 weeks? Do you remember when you went back to work?
Yes.
When was that?
Back in November. It was November, I believe. Yeah, probably around November.
Would that have been in 2022?
Correct.
Okay. And was your husband Justice working at that time as well?
Yes.
So the two of you were both working.
Yes.
And what did you decide to do in regards to Araya at that time, now that you're back at work and Justice is at work as well?
At that time, my cousin Eden was watching her, and she had issues, or her family came home, and then I reached out to Rhonda.
Okay. So you decided to find someone to care for her.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you had an agreement with the defendant to watch and care for your child, Araya?
Yes.
Do you remember when she started watching Araya, the defendant?
I want to say it was back in May. I could be wrong, though.
And what hours was the defendant supposed to watch Araya?
She'd get there between 8 and 8:30, and I'd go pick her up after on my lunch, so about 1 o'clock.
About one. So would it be fair to say between 8:30, and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so 8 in the morning till 1 o'clock. So maybe 5.5 hours.
Yes.
Did you pay the defendant money to watch Araya?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say, did you consider the defendant to be like a babysitter or a nanny for Araya?
Yes.
So you hired her
Yes.
to care for Araya.
Yes.
When Araya was in the care of the defendant, did you expect at that time that the defendant would feed Araya?
Yes.
Did you expect that she would change Araya's diapers?
Yes.
Did you expect that, if necessary, she would change Araya's clothes?
Yes.
Did you expect that she would make her baby formula?
Yes.
And did you expect that she would use baby wipes, baby lotion, things of that nature?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that while she had Araya and you're at work, that you felt she was responsible for Araya?
Yes.
And that was the agreement that you had with her?
Yes.
If Araya was ever sick or something, did you entrust with the defendant that she could even give medicine to Araya?
Yes.
When you hired the defendant to care for Araya, did you go through with her what you expected from her?
Yes.
What type of things did you tell her that you expected her to do?
Change Araya's diaper, feed Araya, just tend for her, care for her, make sure she's safe.
Generally, on the days that the defendant would care for Araya, did she come to your house or did you go to her house?
To pick Araya up,
Yes, in the morning.
she came to my house.
She would come to your house.
Yes.
Normally, not talking about July 19th yet, but normally, how would that occur? She comes to your house, where would Araya normally be?
Well, Araya would sit in my office, and I would wait for a text message from her saying she was about to pull up. I would put her in the car seat and kind of stare at the window, because about that time she was about to pull up. And I'd put her in the car seat, and we'd walk out there and put her in the car.
And who would put Araya in the car?
Typically me.
Typically you. And she would be in her car seat.
Correct.
And then you would just strap her into the car with the seatbelt and all that. Did you also prepare a bag, a baby bag we'll call it, for Araya?
Yes.
What type of items were in the baby bag?
Bottles, formula, clothes, diapers, wipes. She'd have a spoon just in case she wanted to feed her baby food. A blanket, a pacifier. I believe that's it.
Would it be fair to say just normal things that one would use for a child, an infant, when they're caring for them?
Yes.
Any, besides the clothes, any kind of blanket, things like that?
She'd have a blanket.
What would be would that be just for when she's taking a nap?
Araya just typically loved to have a blanket and snuggle up on. But yeah, nap
Okay.
time would be the main time.
And do you know where, when the defendant would pick up Araya, where would she go with Araya?
The plan was for her to go to the house on State Streets, and that's usually where I thought she was going, or that's where she would go.
You said the house on Estate Street. Do you recall whose house that was?
Her name's Stacy.
Stacy. Okay, why would she go to Stacy's house?
She was watching other children there.
Okay, so she was watching Stacy's kids and Araya.
Correct.
Okay. And then, normally, how would you go get Araya? Would
I-
you go pick her up, or would she bring her back to your house?
I'd go pick her up.
You go pick her up. Okay. And normally, what time would you pick her up?
I'd clock out at lunch at 1 o'clock, so I'd typically get there around 1:15, 1:17.
And when you would go pick her up, where would you normally go to pick her up?
To the front door of the house.
Okay. Were there any other doors to the house?
Repeat that, sorry.
Were there any other doors to that house other than the front door?
There were, but I only went to the front.
You only went to the front. Okay. Now let me take you to July 19th of 2023. Do you remember what day of the week that was? I know it's been a while, but
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Do you remember what the weather was like that day?
Hot and sunny.
Was that a day that the defendant watched and cared for Araya?
Yes.
Did the defendant come to your house on that day of July 19th?
Yes.
Do you remember approximately what time she arrived?
8 a.m.
Do you remember if you said anything to the defendant when she got to your house?
We talked.
Anything in particular stick out, or just normal conversation?
Just normal conversation, I would say.
Do you remember when she came into your house, did the defendant have anything in her hand?
A cell phone.
A cell phone. Okay. When the defendant came to your house that morning, was Araya awake?
Yes.
And where was Araya when the defendant arrived?
In her car seat.
So you already had her ready to go.
Yes.
Was your husband Justice home as well?
No.
And where was he?
He left for work.
He left for work. Okay. Did you have any items on that day packed for Araya?
Yes.
Was it in a baby bag?
Yes.
And what were those items on that day that you had packed?
Bottles, formula. I was putting cereal in her bottles, so cereal. Diapers, wipes, blanket, pacifier, a change of clothes. And I might have put some baby food in there.
Okay. Did you give this baby bag to the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. How did Araya get to the defendant's vehicle that day?
I walked her out there.
Is that what you normally did?
Yes.
And did you put her inside the vehicle?
Yes.
The defendant's vehicle?
Yes.
Do you remember what kind of vehicle it was?
It's a gray, silver Chevy Tahoe.
And did you put her in the back seat?
Yes.
And did you strap her in with the seatbelt?
Yes.
And then what happened to the baby bag?
I always put it like underneath the car seat on the floorboard behind the passenger seat.
So you put Araya in the car and you put the baby bag with her as well.
Yes.
Did the defendant, after Araya was put in the vehicle and the baby bag was put in the vehicle, did the defendant leave at that point?
Yes.
Do you know roughly what time it was in the morning?
I would say no later than 8:10. It was probably like 8:05. I really
Okay.
didn't look at time.
So just to make it clear, when the defendant left, she had Araya with her in her vehicle and the baby bag with all the items.
Yes.
And did you feel at that point that you had given the defendant everything that she would need to watch Araya for the next 5 hours?
Yes.
On that morning, do you remember how Araya appeared to you? Anything unusual with Araya?
No.
She wasn't sick, nothing like that.
No.
Once the defendant left, did you then start working?
Yes.
After the defendant left your house, when do you next hear from the defendant?
Like a time or,
Yes, a time approximately, and how did you hear from the defendant?
I believe she texted me at 8:17.
Okay, let me ask you about that. Did you and the defendant text each other?
Yes,
So you had her phone number,
yes,
and the defendant had your phone number.
yes,
So obviously you own a cell phone.
yes,
It's capable of receiving text messages,
yes,
and it can send text messages.
yes,
Is the defendant someone whom you communicate with through text messages, at least at that time, pretty much on a regular basis?
yes,
And the defendant is someone that you exchange text messages with?
yes,
On July 19th of 2023, did you receive a text message from the defendant?
yes.
How did you determine that it was coming from the defendant? What did you recognize when you received this text message?
Her name, the contact name,
Okay. And do you remember what it was?
Rhonda Jewell.
Rhonda. Would you recognize the text message if it were presented to you in court today?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Your Honor, may I have what you witnessed?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. I'm going to show you State's Exhibit A. Just look at it yourself. Don't read it out loud. Ms. Page, do you recognize what I've just handed you?
Yes.
And without reading it, what is it?
A text message from Rhonda Jewell.
Do you see some initials on there or a name on there from who you received it from?
Yes.
Do you recognize that?
Yes.
And what are those initials or name? What does it say?
RJ, and then under it says Rhonda.
It says RJ, underneath it says Rhonda. Who sent you that text message?
Rhonda.
Did you respond to that text message?
Yes.
Does that exhibit, A, appear to be a fair and accurate representation of the text message and conversation that you had with the defendant on July 19th?
Yes.
Does it appear to be altered in any way?
No.
The State would like to introduce
Any objection?
May we approach, please, Your Honor?
Yeah. Yes, sir. And to my understanding, the defense has no objection, subject to the discussion that we had.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Very well, then it will be received as State's Exhibit, what is it, A? 1, State's Exhibit 1. Got it?
Your Honor, permission to publish it to the jury?
It's ready.
Ms. Page, if you could look behind, you're actually just going to show it on the screen. That's what you were just looking at, Ms. Page?
Yes.
Okay. The RJ on top, who is that?
Rhonda Jewell.
Okay. And you communicated with her in the past through text messaging?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned at 8:17. What does it say at 8:17?
Just left. You want me to read the next one?
Yeah, the next line too.
Shocker.
Shocker. That is just to make it clear for the record, that is a message you are receiving from the defendant at 8:17. It says just left. On 8:18 it says shocker.
Yes.
Okay. This would have been a time when the defendant had Araya with her.
Yes.
Okay. Then do you respond to that?
Yes.
Okay. What time do you respond?
8:32.
And what do you say?
Very surprised.
Okay. Did you take that to mean that she's informing you that Stacy has now left the house
Yes.
when she says just left?
Yes.
Okay. Then there's another message, I think it says at 8:32. Is that from the defendant again?
Yes.
Is that her responding to you saying very surprised?
Yes.
Okay. And what does she say at 8:32?
She said yes.
Okay. Once again, at 8:32, you're receiving a text message from the defendant.
Yes.
At this point, she has Araya with her.
Yes.
And she left your house approximately around 8 o'clock that morning.
Yes.
And you're receiving these text messages after Araya's been put in her care.
Yes.
Okay. Approximately how much time had passed when you started getting these text messages from when she left your house with Araya, would you say? Approximately.
17 minutes.
Okay. The house that she is watching Araya at, which would be Stacy's house,
Yes.
where is that house located?
McClinney 2 off of Estate Street?
Estate Street, and that's in Baker County.
Yes.
Okay. Did you receive any phone calls from the defendant while you were working, or just a text?
Just the text.
Did you eventually leave to go pick up Araya?
Yes.
Okay. What time did you get to Stacy's house?
I would say roughly 1:17.
When you arrived on July 19th to pick up Araya, where did you go?
To the front door.
To the front door. Had you ever gone to the back door?
No.
Have you ever gone to the garage door?
No.
So that was normal for you.
Yes.
What did you do when you first got to the front door?
Knocked on the door.
Did anyone answer when you knocked on the door?
No.
After you knocked on the door, what did you do next?
Rang the doorbell.
Did anyone come to the door when you rang the doorbell?
No.
Could you hear anything inside the house?
Yes.
What could you hear?
The TV and the kids in the house?
So you could hear that something was inside the house.
Yes.
After knocking on the door and ringing the doorbell and there's no answer, what do you do next?
Picked up the phone and called her.
So you called the defendant.
Yes.
What did you say when you called her?
Said, hey, I'm here.
And what did the defendant say to you?
What door are you at?
And what were you think when she said, what door are you at?
I was wondering why she was asking me that. I've never went to any other doors.
What did you tell her?
I said, front door.
What happened next when you told her you were at the front door?
She then came to the door and opened it.
When she opened the door, what did you do?
I stepped inside.
And what did you do as soon as you got inside?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did you do?
I took my shoes off.
Okay, and what was the purpose of that?
I was just always raised to take your shoes off in somebody else's house.
Okay. What does the defendant do as soon as you walk in and you take your shoes off?
She kind of shoved me out the way and just started running out the door,
Was she saying anything as she was running out the door?
screaming my name.
Do you know where she was running to?
Not until she arrived where she was running to,
And where did she eventually arrive?
the back passenger door of her Tahoe.
Would that be her vehicle?
Yes,
Where was her vehicle parked?
on the side of the driveway in the rocks.
So it was outside.
Yes.
Wasn't in the garage or anything like that.
No.
Did you follow her to her car?
And when I realized where she was going, yes.
When you arrived at the defendant's car, what did you see?
Araya, not breathing,
Where was Araya?
in her car seat still.
Was she still strapped in?
Yes.
Exactly where you had put her?
Yes.
You said she was not breathing.
No.
How did you know that?
Her lips were blue.
What did you do next?
I told her to call 911.
And was Araya taken out of the car?
Yes.
Was her baby bag with all the items you had packed still in the car as well?
Yes.
Where was Araya put?
I told her to go put her on the golf cart inside the garage.
Inside the garage.
I told her to go take her inside, and she had went to take her on the garage, in the garage on the golf cart.
Did you call 911?
Yes.
After you called 911, who else did you call?
My mother-in-law,
And who is your mother-in-law?
Pamela Page.
Why did you call Pamela Page?
I didn't know how to do CPR.
And did you think Pamela Page would be able to do or instruct you on how to do CPR?
Yes, because she's a nurse.
She's a nurse. Okay. Do you remember what you told Pamela Page when you called her?
I told her to get here now.
Did you tell her anything about Araya?
I said Araya's dead. Or Araya's not breathing.
And were you given instructions by Pamela as how to do CPR?
Yes.
And did you start performing CPR on her?
Yes.
Do you remember what type of instruction or what you were doing with Araya?
It's really hard to remember, but I vaguely remember. Would you like me to tell you?
Yes.
So she told me 2 hands on her chest. She said, don't push too hard because you'll break her ribs. But she said, give her air in her mouth. Try to give her air in her mouth.
And did you follow those instructions?
I did.
How did Araya feel to you when you were touching her?
Very rubbery and wet.
Did the ambulance arrive?
Yes.
The police arrive?
Yes.
When the ambulance arrived, did the paramedics then take over with the CPR?
Yes.
And did they eventually take Araya to the hospital?
Yes.
Would that be Ed Frazier?
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
And did you go to the hospital as well?
Yes.
When you went to the hospital, I imagine other family members went there as well?
Yes. Correct.
Did Pamela Page show up and other individuals too?
Yes.
Okay. Did your husband eventually come to the hospital as well?
Yes.
And did you then hear from the doctor
Yes.
and were informed that Araya had passed?
Yes.
How'd you feel at that moment?
I didn't know how to feel. I didn't know what to feel. Don't even know how to explain it.
What did you do next?
I sat outside and talked to the family and asked them, what do we do next? I mean, I was just a mom a couple hours ago, a couple minutes ago, and now I'm having to proceed a life without a kid.
Ms. Page, on July 19th of 2023, you left Araya in the care of the defendant,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And you gave her a baby back.
Yes.
During the 5 hours, maybe a little over 5 hours, are you aware during that time, did the defendant ever feed Araya?
No, I think I'm understanding your question.
Did she ever feed Araya during those 5 hours that you gave her
No,
to her?
no,
Did she ever change her diaper during that time?
no,
Ever change her outfit?
no,
Make her baby bottles or formula?
no.
Do you remember the defendant saying anything to you during this time when you were there and you realized Araya was in the vehicle? What did she say?
I just remember her keep screaming my name. But that's all I really remember.
One moment, Your Honor.
You may.
We're going to show you State's Exhibit B and State's Exhibit C. Just look at them yourself. Clerk, can you approach?
Yes, you may approve.
This page, just very briefly, State's Exhibit B. You recognize that?
Yes.
What is that photo?
Stacy's house.
Is that the house you went to on July 19th
Yes.
to pick up Mariah?
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit C, identification, obviously you recognize that as well.
Yes.
And
I do that.
what is that? Who's that photo?
Mariah.
Your Honor, I'd like to put these into evidence if I may.
I'm going to go ahead and receive them, subject to the objections raised by the defendants.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd like to be able to publish them to the jury.
You may. Those will be State's Exhibits 2 and 3.
Just for the record, Your Honor, this is State's number 2, which is the witness is identified as the house that she drove to. And then if we could also see State's Exhibit, or State's number 3. Judge, one last issue. We can go to question and answer.
Yes, sir.
Bring them on, please.
All rise for the jury. All jurors present.
Be seated, please. Mr. Yasny, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. May I proceed? Thank you. Your Honor, if I may approach the witness.
You may.
Your Honor, for the record, I'm approaching the witness with State's number 4 that's already been put into evidence. Ms. Page, do you recognize this?
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what this is?
Mariah's car seat.
Is this the car seat that Araya was in on July 19th of 2023?
Yes.
Is this the car seat that you put in the defendant's vehicle?
Yes.
And is it also the same car seat that you found Araya in approximately 5 hours later?
Yes.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, if I could just publish it to the jury.
You may.
In front of the jury.
And again, speaking to the jury, anytime there's an exhibit that you may get to look at for that long. You'll have plenty of time to look at it when you do your deliberation, so we're just letting you know what it is at this point.
Your Honor, if I may approach you
Yes.
again? Thank you. Ms. Page, you recognize this is state's number 5 that's already been put into evidence. You recognize this?
Yes,
Can you explain to the jury what this is?
the diaper bag.
Is this the diaper bag that you had packed for Araya on July 19th of 2023?
Yes,
And is this the diaper bag that was given to the defendant and put in her vehicle?
yes,
And is this the same diaper bag that was still in the vehicle when you came to pick up Araya at approximately 1:15?
yes.
Could you please open the diaper bag and describe the contents that are in there? Your Honor, may I publish those
You may.
to the jury? Thank you.
This is the cereal I would put in the bottles every day. The bottles that she would use.
The baby bottles?
Yes. The formula I packed for the bottles.
This is the baby formula.
Yes. The diapers. I don't know if you want me to.
Several diapers?
Yes. Let me take all this out.
What else is there?
A spoon, a bib, and clothes and wipes. Sorry.
You're fine. This you said was a bib and a spoon?
Yes. The wipes.
Baby wipes, you said?
Yes. And an extra outfit.
An extra outfit?
Yes. Extra outfit. That's it. Okay. Cool.
May I approach the witness one last time, Your Honor?
Yes, sir, you may.
This is when he states number 6, arrayed in evidence. And this page, once again, you could open this and tell the jury what that is.
Her blanket she would sleep with, nap times, cuddle with.
Is that the blanket that you packed on July 19th of 2023?
Yes,
And that was also put in the defendant's vehicle?
yes,
And still in the defendant's vehicle when you picked up Araya, or went to pick up Araya at 1?
yes.
Your Honor, if I may briefly just publish this.
You may. Sure.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you. Madam Clerk, thank you. Ms. Page, when all this occurred on July 19th, and you arrived, and you described how the defendant ran to the vehicle and you found Araya in the vehicle, did the defendant admit to you or say anything about Araya being in the vehicle?
No,
Do you remember anything that she had said?
I can't remember.
You said you had called 911.
Yes.
Can you describe to the jury how you felt at that moment emotionally?
I felt so helpless. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what steps to take. I felt so heartless. I felt so angry, so mad. I had so many emotions running through, so much anger. So hard. I don't know what else to say.
And once again, all of these events took place on Estate Street. That's where you found Araya, here in Baker County.
Yes.
Okay. One moment, Judge. I think it may be done. Your Honor, that's all I have at this moment. I tender to the witness.
Okay, Mr. Nelson, cross-examination. Ms. Johnson?
Good morning, Ms. Page.
Morning.
I am so very sorry, and I offer my condolences for Araya.
Thank you.
You indicated on direct exam that you have known Rhonda Jewell for many years, it sounds like. Is that correct?
Correct.
I think specifically your stepdad went to school with her.
I think so, yes.
And then my understanding is that your family sort of reunited around 2017 or 2018 whenever your brother, Miss Jewell's son, graduated from high school, correct?
Yes.
And after that, it sounded like you guys all became very close friends.
Yes.
My understanding is that she was really tight with your family, would be an
Yes.
accurate way to put that.
Yes.
And there were times that you and your husband, Justice Page, spent time with Miss Jewell and her husband and her family, correct?
Yes.
And I think your parents may also have spent a lot of time with them, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, if we could approach briefly.
You may proceed, Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Page, as far as the family connection that you all had, there were times that you went to dinner with Rhonda Jewell and her family?
Correct.
And I think there were times you guys went on vacation with Rhonda and her family, correct? So you knew Rhonda outside of the babysitting duties that she was performing for you and
Correct.
Araya, correct? And you knew that before she started keeping Araya for you, that she had kept other children, correct?
Correct.
And my understanding is that she was actually keeping Stacy Pascal's twins and occasionally her daughter before she started keeping Araya for you. Is that correct?
Correct.
And I think my understanding is that she had to ask Stacy if it was okay if she kept Araya on top of her children, correct?
Correct.
So it was your understanding that most of the time Rhonda would have Araya at Stacy's house, correct?
Correct.
I think you indicated that your babysitter, your cousin, had to quit taking care of Araya for other reasons, and that's when you asked Rhonda to be your babysitter, correct?
Correct.
And you said you thought that was around May of 2024, or 2023, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Initially, whenever Rhonda started keeping your baby, Araya, my understanding is that she was keeping her more often during the week. Is that correct?
Can you re-ask that question?
Sure. It was poorly phrased, I'm sorry. Initially, when Rhonda started keeping Araya, she was keeping her Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Do you remember how often she was keeping her originally?
Yes, it was Monday through Thursday.
Okay. And so generally, she would pick Araya up, as you've described, and then take her to Stacy's house if she had Stacy's children that day, those days.
Correct.
During that, there were some days that she didn't actually have Stacy's children, correct?
Correct.
So on those days, Rhonda would either keep Araya around town running errands or take her back to her house. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you said that she started keeping Araya for you in May. At some point before July 19th, that schedule changed. Is that accurate, of the days that Rhonda was keeping Araya?
The schedule changed, yes.
And my understanding is that she began keeping Araya on Mondays and Wednesdays. Is that
Correct.
correct? I'm sorry, was that a yes?
Correct.
My understanding is that your mother-in-law, Mrs. Page, Miss Pamela Page, started keeping Araya for you on Tuesdays and Thursdays, correct?
Correct.
And so there were times when you went to Stacy Pascal's house to pick Araya up, but there were other times that you went to other locations to pick up Araya, correct?
Yes, but no.
What do you mean, but no?
I mean, hardly ever did. It was majority of the time was at Stacy's house.
Okay. The Monday before July 19th, which was a Wednesday, Rhonda had Araya on that day but did not have Stacy's twins, correct?
I do not remember.
Do you recall picking Araya up from Rhonda at the home of Kaylee and Mike Rogers?
I do.
Do you recall if that was recently in time to this incident on July 19th?
I remember doing it, but I don't remember exactly when.
Okay. And then there were some other occasions where Rhonda had Araya at her own house and someone had to travel that 30-minute drive to pick her up, correct?
Correct.
We saw some text messages today, and you discussed those with Mr. Yazdia. And my understanding is that you would frequently text Rhonda because she was a friend of yours and of your family's, correct?
Correct.
And you guys would text about life in general, different subjects.
Correct.
When we saw the text message from 817 that said just left or she just left, you testified that you believed that that was Rhonda saying that Stacy had just left her house.
Correct.
There were times that Rhonda would be irritated with Stacy and would vent to you about the fact that she didn't always leave exactly when she said she was going to, correct?
Correct.
So there were times when Stacy Pascal would tell Rhonda, I need you to come early, I need you to be here early. But then
Objection,
she
Your
wouldn't.
Honor. Hearsay.
Response?
My response is it goes directly to what she was saying as to what the text message was related to and how she knew that. Judge.
Well, it is hearsay. We'll allow this one, but let's avoid that.
Thank you, Your Honor. So there were times when Stacy would indicate to be at one time, to be there at a certain time and then would be later leaving, correct?
Correct.
And Rhonda had discussed that with you.
Correct.
But because of the family relationship or family-like relationship that you had with Rhonda, it wasn't unusual for you to just generally text her, correct?
Correct.
When you asked Rhonda to be a babysitter or nanny for your daughter, you had no concerns about her ability to give her care, correct?
Correct.
You felt that Araya was safe with her,
Correct.
and you hadn't had any incidences up until July 19th that caused you to change that opinion, correct?
Correct.
You indicated that generally, when Rhonda would pick up Araya, you would be on the lookout for her, and you would take Araya out to the car, correct?
Correct.
It sounds like you usually were the one who put Araya in the car,
Correct.
and you buckled her or seat belted the car seat into the seat.
Correct.
And then, of course, it's an infant carrier, so Araya's buckled into the harness of the seat as well.
Correct.
And then I think you said you usually put the baby bag on the floor, kind of on the floorboard on the passenger side under the car seat that Araya was in.
Correct.
Usually Rhonda didn't get out of her car for this process, correct?
No, that's not correct.
That's not correct, okay. On this day, on July 19th, Rhonda didn't get out of the car.
That's not correct.
Okay. Did Rhonda come into your house on that day?
No.
You guys had a brief conversation there while Rhonda's at your house,
Yes.
and then Rhonda had to leave so that she could be on time to get to Stacy's, correct?
Yes.
When you placed Araya in the car, she had the baby blanket in the car seat with her, correct?
Correct.
On the days that Rhonda had Araya and she was not keeping Stacy's children, you had no objection to her running errands with her or taking her to other places, correct?
Correct.
When you asked Rhonda to be a caregiver for Araya, you were familiar with the care that she had given to other children in this capacity. So I'm assuming you felt like she knew.
Objection, Your Honor.
Basis for that is what?
We can approach briefly, Judge.
Okay, one more time.
Ms. Page, I was simply asking, because you were aware of Miss Jewell being a nanny to other children, you knew that she knew what you were expecting of her when you asked her to take care of Araya, correct? Okay. On this particular day, this was the earliest that Rhonda had ever picked Araya up from you, is that correct?
Correct.
So she had to be there even earlier than usual.
Correct.
And then you said that you usually left your house at 1 to travel to Stacy's house to pick up Araya.
Correct.
And you did the same thing on this day on July 19th.
Correct.
You talked about you knocked on the door and no one answered, correct?
Correct.
At that time, you could hear the kids in the house making noise,
Correct.
and you could tell the TV was on,
Correct.
but no one came to the door.
Correct.
And then you rang the doorbell and no one still came to the door.
Correct.
So you testified that you called Rhonda
Correct.
and you said, "I'm here."
Correct.
And then you said that she asked what door you were at.
Correct.
Sounds like you thought that was odd, that she was asking you that, because you always came to the front door.
Correct.
She stayed on the phone with you the whole time as she's walking through the house to open the door for you, correct?
I don't know where she was at in the house.
Okay, but she was on the phone with you as she's walking towards the door?
Correct.
Okay. You stepped inside the door, and you said you took off your shoes.
Correct.
At that time, you had your phone and your keys in your hand.
Correct.
You also had the money in your hand that you were going to use to pay Miss Jewell for her babysitting duties, correct?
Correct.
And you usually would pay her on Wednesdays because that would be the end of her work week for you.
Correct.
And so as you walk into that door and you're taking off your shoes, that's when Miss Rhonda pushed you to the side and started running out of the door.
Correct.
And you said she was screaming your name over and over.
Correct.
So just saying, Brooke, Brooke.
Correct.
And she continued to do that as she ran all the way out of the front door to the vehicle.
Correct.
Did you follow her off of the porch, or did you not leave the porch until she got to her vehicle?
I followed her off the porch.
At some point, you dropped your own cell phone and the things that were in your hand, correct?
Correct.
When you get to the car, you tell Rhonda to call 911, correct?
Correct.
At that point, Rhonda runs back towards the house, correct?
I don't know where she went.
Okay. Was it your impression that she was trying to follow your instructions to go call 911?
Yes.
Ultimately, you ended up calling 911.
Yes.
Was that because you just felt like this was taking too long and you needed to make the phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair to say that 30 seconds or less happened between you telling Rhonda to call 911 and you made the call yourself?
I honestly don't know.
I'm sure your goal at that point was just to get someone there as quickly as possible.
Correct.
Did you, strike that? As you're on the phone with 911, Rhonda gets Araya out of the car, correct?
Correct.
And Rhonda's standing there and she's holding Araya.
Correct.
She's crying
Correct.
and she's saying something, but you're not sure what she was saying.
I do not remember.
Okay. And at some point you tell Rhonda to take Araya inside or into the AC, correct?
Correct.
And that's when you guys end up in the garage.
Correct.
When you got to the vehicle and you see Araya there, Araya's still in her car seat, correct?
Correct.
And her blanket is still in the general same area where you had left it.
Correct.
And the baby bag is in the same area where it had been placed by you.
Correct.
On this particular day, well, let me back up. Generally, if Araya was not awake in the morning by 7:30, 7:40, you're going to wake her up and get her ready for her day. Is that accurate to say?
Yes.
Sometimes Araya would wake up naturally on her own earlier than that.
Sometimes.
Okay. And sometimes you would have to wake her up
Yes.
because you wanted her to be ready when Rhonda came to pick her up, because generally that's going to be a quick exchange, correct?
Correct.
On this particular day, Araya woke up around 6:30. Is that correct?
Correct.
May I have just a moment, please, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Page. I appreciate your time. And again, we offer our condolences.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Any redirect of this witness from the state?
Yes, Your Honor, very brief. If we could approach one last time, Judge, counsel and I. Ms. Page, just a few follow-up questions. On July 19th of 2023, did the defendant get out of her vehicle when she came to your house to get Araya?
Yes.
And where did she go when she got out of that vehicle?
She went to the back door of her car to help me strap Araya in.
So she was aware that obviously Araya was being put in her vehicle.
Yes.
And she had been doing this for a while, picking up Araya from your house.
Yes.
So this wasn't some weird day out of the ordinary where she's just coming by your house to get Araya.
Correct.
This was something that you had paid her to do, to be the nanny and the babysitter.
Correct.
When she left, once again, Araya and a baby bag were in the car,
Correct.
and the defendant was driving that car.
Correct.
Is there anyone else in that car?
No.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Page.
Any recross?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Can this witness be excused at this time?
I would say subject to recall, Your Honor.
Recall, certainly. Very well. Ms. Page, if you'll step down, please, ma'am.